Welcome back with a new episode with Tanoka 1. We are currently in the middle of Hellatus. Supernatural has gone on another 1-month hiatus, and we are all supposed to live in misery until it is back. Which is why this video is inspired for this week, because you're probably going, what do I do in the meantime? Well, you have several options. One, you could watch reruns of Supernatural, but, why? But that is an option. Another option is you could also be reading any of the Supernatural tie-in novels. My favorite, actually, of the series so far is The Unholy Calls, which takes place in season 5, and is a really great book, actually. I enjoyed it very much. You have Team Free Will in the middle of season 5. Epicness, secondhand embarrassment for Castiel as he unknowingly tries to work miracles on people that are just actors and they're not really hurt. And you have Sam and Dean, who are just like not wanting to embarrass him at all, but at the same time wanting to stop him from further embarrassing himself. And before he causes trouble on accident, but he's so excited because he thinks he's finally doing something useful and like he was meant to do originally because he's an angel, and they feel so bad to have to burst his bubble. And it just, oh god. And then there's like this epic battle scene on a Civil War field with Ghost and all, oh god, and a runaway train and a fight on top of a runaway train. I mean, it is good stuff. Like, it felt like watching an episode. It felt like watching a Supernatural movie. I loved it. And oh god, yeah. The only downside to it is that the conclusion of Cass's storyline, as far as what he's after in the book, is kind of underwhelming. There was this big lead up to it, and then it's not a big deal. And I was just like, that was disappointing, but whatever, because the rest of it totally made up for it. I'm currently reading Rite of Passage, that and Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I multitask. I listen to audiobooks in the car when I'm driving, and then when I get home I read actual physical books. I could read the physical copy of Jane Austen since I have like all of her novels, but I multitask. I'm actually enjoying this one so far, though I'm not very far into it. I'm only on page 66, which is chapter 5. I like the villain in there so far. It's interesting. In which case, in this book, it takes place actually in season 7, which we have Lucifer, who's always fun, and then we have harpies and this dude who like has the power to just make chaos and accidents happen and kill everybody, by like little chain reactions that end up in death and destruction. And so it's interesting, and apparently he's building up and purposely doing all this killing, trying to draw the Winchesters' attention to him for reasons I know not. I haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm actually very interested in it to figure out what's happening. Like I said, Unholy Calls, still my favorite. Actually, of all the Supernatural books I've read so far, that is the only one I've been able to finish. I've read several, and did not finish them. Put them down, walked away. No, wait. I take that back. Witch's Canyon I finished and was bored to tears through the whole thing. But yeah, the writing style was very difficult for me. Unholy Calls, still my favorite. Excellent. And in case you didn't know, there are actually 2 books already scheduled to come out this year. One is coming out in March, and the other one is coming out in May. Cold Fire is coming out in March, and Mythmaker is coming out in May. Both books take place apparently in season 10. Apparently season 8 was entirely too gay. They could not have any books that take place during that time period because it would be entirely too revealing. They just completely skipped 2 seasons. Which burns my waffles, because if we could have gotten further insight into season 8, any continuation of season 8, you have my vote. Like, seriously, I loved season 8. It was amazing. And we're not going to get that, so I'm sad. In other books, if you want to be interested in something else, you can also read my favorite book series. It's Ex-Heroes by Peter Clines. This is a book series that is, if you like superheroes and you like zombies, this is both put together. What it is basically it's the concept of what happens in a world where superheroes exist when the world ends. And that is exactly what the heroes are having to deal with. The world where superheroes exist and the zombie apocalypse happens. Well, you don't just stop being a superhero because the world ends. Your mission just sort of shifts from villains to monsters. And, you know, and they're trying to protect the last of humanity and find other survivors while at the same time fighting off this horde. And they all each have their own issues, and there's a us versus them, humans versus superheroes. And it's really, really good. There are 4 books in the series. Again, the author is called Peter Clines. He's an excellent author. I enjoyed his other book called The Fold as well, and 14, which could be seen as sort of the prequel to this series. But there's 4 books. It's Ex-Heroes, Ex-Heroes, Expatriates, Excommunication, and then Exile. And it's really, really good. I especially love the audiobooks. The first book actually has multiple voices, I believe, and then the other books just have the one narrator for it. But it's so great, and you love like all the different characters. I love it. I love it so much. But if you don't want to read or listen to an audiobook version, there are other things. You're like, Tanoko, what about other TV shows I can watch? Well, I have options for that as well. Some of my other favorite shows are, you have The 100, which is sci-fi. And what it is basically 100... After World War III, humanity moves to space because Earth has become uninhabitable. And after 100 years, the space station that they are on its life support system is failing. They were never meant to be in space that long. So what they do is they send down 100 basically juvenile prisoners to Earth to see if Earth is inhabitable. And to see basically, you know, what they're dealing with before they have to come down. And season 1 starts out very Lord of the Flies. And just, it was really, really good. I loved it. We're currently in season 3? 2? I don't know. A lot happens. So it's kind of hard to, okay, was that in season 2 or was this in season 3? I think we're in season 3. Which means I'm going to need to buy season 2. But it was really, really good. Another show that many of you may have heard of is called Once Upon a Time. And it is literally everything Supernatural is not. It is all about hope and family and you know, hanging on, and love saves the day and nobody dies. Everybody lives and gets a happy ending. And I love that show so much. Oh God, it sounds weird when you hear about it, like, okay, it's about fairy tale creatures or fairy tale characters and stuff, and no, just watch it. Just watch it. And then cry. Cry a lot. And I'm so proud of my babies! Bless. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Oh God. And they all change so much over the course of the series, and just, you will ship things so hard. So hard, Captain Swan, dude. Captain Swan. I ship it. And the Charmings. The Charmings are just so charming. They're so cute. And just, oh God, the whole family. The whole Charming family. I love them so much. Another one, though, actually is going to be Agent Carter. Which is amazing. It is a spin-off of Captain America, the first movie where you meet Peggy Carter for the first time. And it follows her basically after Captain America goes on ice. And it is so good. I mean, in this show you're dealing with basically feminism and the sexism of that time period, that she's not only having to battle like day-to-day, you know, bad guys and villains and stuff like that, but she's having to deal with sexist ideas and the fact that, you know, here's this badass, you know, lady who can do anything and go, you know, side by side with Captain America. And they're wanting they expect her to fetch their coffee and do their lunch orders. Or she's having to listen to radio dramas of, you know, basically the adventures of Captain America. And her as a character, she's reduced to basically being the damsel in distress that Captain America has to keep saving. And she's just like, turn it off before I kill somebody. And then she beats up all the people. She beats them all up. You know, there's excellent soundtrack to the show. Oh my gosh. I'm addicted to Caro Emerald, whom I was introduced to from this series. Also, like, a couple other, like, classic artists from that time period you're introduced to, and just, you ended up going and, like, okay, I have to go buy your CD now. Like, I know it's, like, 70 years old, but I need your music now. I didn't know I needed it before. And so really excellent show, and so much fun, and you love, like, all the characters, their relationships with each other. You have Edwin Jarvis, who is the Jarvis that Tony knows later. It's based off him. You have Jarvis in the flesh, and then you of course have Howard Stark, who's the original Howard Stark from the movie, and all his hijinks and stuff he gets up into. And you have, you know, nods to the Black Widow program, and other girls that went through the same program as Natasha. And just all kinds, oh god, it's so amazing. So great. And then of course you have Haley Atwell, who plays Peggy Carter. Like, she goes undercover, she has all these different costumes, she ends up doing different accents. It's amazing. I love her so much. Let's see, other than that, movies, sorry. Some of my favorite movies that I never get tired of watching. One is Dracula Untold. If you are familiar with Dracula, I hate the original. I hate the book. I hate the movie remakes. I hate them so much. I am bored to tears or horrified, and I am scared of werewolves that walk on two legs. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm fine if it's a big, giant, actual looking wolf, but if it's a werewolf that walks on two legs, I was traumatized as a child, and now I'm terrified of werewolves on two legs that walk like a man. No. Dracula Untold is fabulous. It is my favorite retelling of this classic story. I loved it. It's very different. But it just, oh god, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. And if you're a fan of The Hobbit, Bard plays Dracula. So for that, if alone, you may want to watch it. Another one is going to be Batman Under the Red Hood. If you're not a fan of Batman, you can still follow these movies very well because they'll give you backstory and stuff like that. And you have the same basic characters every time. This one has Batman, it has Nightwing, who is the original Robin, Dick Grayson. And then he ends up dealing with a character called the Red Hood, whom you learn over the course of the story who he is, how he came to be, all this other stuff. So there's backstory in on this. Excellent. Excellent movie. Like, it's one of my favorite Batman movies. That and Batman Return of the Joker. It's really good. In which case Mark Hamill does not play the Joker in this movie, which is sad. But the person who does actually still does a really good job if you're just, you know, sort of a purist and a fan of the classics and the fact that nobody beats Mark Hamill. Who has played the Joker for decades. And so, yeah, like, I love this movie so much, and it just, all of the feels. And on a supernatural side note, I didn't realize until I was watching the movie the first time, is that Jensen Ackles plays one of the characters in this movie. And I was sitting there watching it for the first time, and the character said a line, and I'm going, I know that voice. I know that voice. Say that again. Rewind. Play again. Oh my god. No, shut up. Shut up. Pause this. I gotta look this up. I gotta look it up right now. Oh my god! And then I was like, new favorite film all over again. Just new. Yeah. Jensen Ackles played this. I had no idea. Wait, hold on. Do that again. I know that voice. And it's aside from Jensen Ackles though, it's a great movie. Like I said, all the feels. Like, oh god almighty, I love this movie so much. Like I said, this one and Batman Beyond Return of the Joker are two of my absolute favorite Batman movies, the animated ones. Possibly out of all the movies, including the live action ones. Batman Returns is also excellent, and Batman Forever. Those are my two favorite live action ones. Sorry, this is my doggy here. One of them. And so, very, very excellent film. The other one is Penelope, with Christina Ricci and James McAvoy and Catherine O'Hara and Reese Witherspoon. It is super stupid cute. I'm not big into chick flicks. That's something Dean and I have very much in common. I love this movie. My best friend, Ugg Bunny, sent it to me, and she was just like, here, watch this. And I was like, okay, and it sat on my shelf for like ever, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, Ugg Bunny. But then I finally watched it, because so I could tell her, you know, what I thought of it. I love this movie. It is so super cute, and the message in it is just like amazing. And it actually very much coincides kind of with what Jared Padalecki is going over with his Always Keep Fighting campaign, where he's just, his new message is love yourself first. And that's something Penelope has to learn over the course of the movie, is that rather than seeking validation and love in other people to basically, you know, prove to herself she's worth something, or that she's beautiful, or that, you know, whatever, that she needs to find validation within herself. She needs to like herself before worrying about whether or not anybody else does. You know, that she has to live with herself her whole life. So therefore the only approval she needs is her own. And it's really, really excellent. And of course, oh God, her and James McAvoy, Christina Ricci and them two playing off of each other, they're adorable. Though James McAvoy, I really, really, really want to wash his hair. It's greasy in this movie, and that's part of his character, I guess. It drove me up the wall. I can't stand greasy hair. It drives me up the wall. Like, no, I will literally bend you over the sink and wash your hair. Because... So yeah, that's my only peeve with this movie. But then Reese Witherspoon is in it, and she's adorable, and just, oh God, this whole movie is just amazing. I love it. It's so cute. And like I said, we're in Hellatus. It's a miserable time. You know, aside from watching reruns or possibly reading fanfic, these are some options, you know. You can also work on writing fanfic if you would like. If you need something supernatural to get you through, you can write fanfic. Doesn't have to be great, just write a whole bunch of little short prompts. You can read fanfic. I've, like, On the Wings of War is one of my favorites. And I Will Walk on Water is one of my other favorites. Warnings on that one, but all the bad stuff has already happened. You're just having to deal with the aftermath. Angst fest, like, whoa, but it's so great. Defying All Expectation is another one. It's an alternate season 6 long fic, very case oriented and team free will all the way. If you're wanting an AU, I recommend Metaphysical Gravity. There are actually audiobook versions of all of these fics. They're called podfics. And you can look them up very easily. Google is a thing. More people need to learn how to use it. And so you can just literally look them up by title and be like audiobook or podfic or something like that, and you can find it very easily. There's actually fan art for several of these as well. So you may want to check that out too. And yeah, that's it for this week. If you have any suggestions for another video, please feel free to drop me a line or leave something in the comments, or you can submit one over on my Tumblr. If not, it may be Hellatus here too, and I'll just see y'all when Supernatural's back on, unless y'all want, you know, a video to get us through. So, have a good week.